Welcome back to Shadow Keepers. I'm Lee.
And I'm B.
Tonight we're heading straight into 1692, a year that still echoes with paranoia and fear. We're talking about the Salem Witch Trials.
This is one of those stories where the truth is even darker than the legend. Over 200 people accused, 20 executed, an entire community gripped by hysteria.
And it all started with two little girls in Salem Village.
So picture this. It's the dead of winter, February 1692, Salem Village, what's now Danvers, Massachusetts. Reverend Samuel Parris's 9-year-old daughter, Betty, and his 11-year-old niece, Abigail Williams, start acting strange.
Strange how?
They're screaming, contorting their bodies, throwing things. They say they're being bitten and pinched by invisible hands.
Right, and a local doctor checks them out and says, not illness, not epilepsy, witchcraft.
And that diagnosis carries real weight in a Puritan community. Remember, these people believed the devil was literally stalking New England.
And once the idea was out there, the girls started pointing fingers. Their first accusations landed on 3 women: Tituba, Reverend Parris's enslaved woman from the Caribbean; Sarah Good, a homeless beggar; and Sarah Osborne, an older woman who rarely went to church.
Outsiders, easy scapegoats. What shocked me doing research on this was that only 20 people died. Well, no, that only 20 people were put to death. More people died due to confinement, but that they only killed 20 people because the Salem Witch Trials is such a big deal here that I thought it was like mass murder.
Yeah.
But then to do the research and it was only 20 people, I was like, I mean, not to say like that's it, but like that's it. Like I thought there'd be more killings, because then why is it such a big deal?
Yeah.
And then I was wondering too, like, why is Salem a big deal? They've been doing witch trials all over the world at the time. But then I remember that at the time the US was still a young country. So I think this was like the US is like first time of something like this happening here compared to in Europe. And that's why it was a big deal. One thing though to note, the Reverend Parris, he was a reverend in Salem Village for 2 years before the witch trials happened. It kind of makes it seem like he showed up and then it happened. He was reverend there for 2 years. And honestly, I think he was a scam artist because before he came to Salem Village, he was in the Caribbean and he was a merchant seller. He was not a reverend.
Yeah.
Then he came and he was in Boston, and then from Boston he went to Salem Village, and then he was all of a sudden a reverend.
Yeah, you have those traveling reverends that just go village to village after a certain amount of time.
And he specifically chose the Puritan religion to preach because he saw how extreme the people in the village were with their religion. So he did it to basically feed off of their fears.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I mean, you get free board, food, everybody respects you, asks you for advice. Probably a good gig in the 1600s.
Probably. And then if you can create a mass hysteria, that means there's more people coming, more people wanting to hear your words.
Yeah.
And what I thought was crazy is it's his kids that are experiencing this witchcraft, the first ones to experience the witchcraft. Why did they not just assume it was him?
Yeah.
That's what I would think. I'm like, those are your kids.
Yeah.
What are you doing to your kids?
Yeah, but they're not going to think that because people back then are easily manipulated. And especially someone like a reverend, he has, like, people will trust his words and believe what he's saying. So.
It's true. Because if you think about it, back then, if you were self-sufficient, someone who thought for yourself and didn't follow the beliefs of everyone else, if
And
you were an outsider,
questioned everything.
then you were an outsider, then you are a witch, because why are you so strong-willed?
Exactly.
Crazy.
So in March 1692, the women were dragged into court. And here's the twist: Sarah Good denies it, Sarah Osborne denies it, but Tituba?
After being beaten and threatened, she confesses. Her confession was explosive. She said she signed the devil's book, seen strange animals, and that others in Salem were witches too.
That confession pours gasoline on the fire. If there's a secret coven, then anyone could be a witch. Suspicion spreads everywhere.
Over the next few weeks, accusations snowball. People from respected families were named: Rebecca Nurse, a pious 71-year-old woman, and Martha Corey, known for her strong faith. If even church members could be witches, then no one was safe.
Which is terrifying.
So the thing with this one is that also, who was also taken into custody was Sarah Good's 4-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
So they questioned Sarah Good's 4-year-old daughter and asked her if they thought her mom was a witch. And she said yes, and that she was one too. So
Mhm.
they also took her 4-year-old daughter into custody, and she also went to trial, which is wild.
Yeah, that is I don't understand people back then,
Have you never asked a 4-year-old questions before?
right?
They say, "What?"
She probably she doesn't even know what a witch is.
No. Like, my thing is, what did you explain to her?
Yeah. What did you say a witch was?
I wanna know.
For her to say, "Yeah, my mom does that."
You probably said, "You know your mom's a witch, right?" And then she was like, "So, is your mom a witch?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, because you just told me she is.
Exactly.
So does that make you a witch?" "Well, I guess." It's like, "Come on, man. She's 4."
Yeah, she's like, "Well, I'm a witch too. My mom's a witch, I'm a witch."
But also too is, like, the first people, so this was crazy to me. The first people who were accused were the outsiders. Then people who were next being accused were more the upright people.
Mhm.
And my thing is, I found it strange how they took these people's accusations serious,
They
because
did.
I would assume that after, I don't know, maybe the 4th or 5th person, that they're just naming people that they don't like.
Mhm.
Y'all naming people y'all don't
It
like.
wasn't really, like, real investigations either,
No.
like and what would they investigate? How would you investigate if someone's a witch? There is
I
nothing.
There was none.
It's only he said, she said, that's it.
They're naming people that they don't like, that they're jealous of.
And then they torture them just
Yes.
to get a confession, to force them to basically confess because "I'm not a witch" was not good enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Also, when these people were taken into custody, they were taken all the way to Boston and held in jail in Boston because they didn't have a jail in Salem Village. So, they had to go all the way to Boston, and then I think that's why a lot of them died in captivity, because at that, the trial didn't start right away. They didn't have a
No.
judge. The judge had to be shipped in.
Yeah.
That's crazy. By June, the governor created a special court, the Court of Oyer and Terminer, just to handle the witches' cases.
And the first to stand trial is Bridget Bishop. She's accused of tormenting children and owning enchanted puppets.
Poppets, like little dolls,
Exactly. The jury finds her guilty, and on June 10, 1692, she's hanged, the first execution.
and it snowballs. In July, Sarah Good, Elizabeth Howe, Susanna Martin, and Rebecca Nurse are executed.
August brings more, including George Burroughs, a former minister. At his execution, he recites the Lord's Prayer perfectly, something people thought witches couldn't do. The crowd almost believes that he's innocent.
Almost. But the hanging goes forward anyway.
And September is the bloodiest month. On the 22nd, 8 people are executed in a single day, including Martha Corey, Mary Easty, and Anne Putiater.
And then there's Giles Corey. He refused to plea because either way, his land would be seized. So the court ordered him pressed with heavy stones stacked on his chest.
His last words, "more weight." That line has haunted Salem for centuries. Yeah, because if he would have confessed, then the bank would have taken his home. So because he didn't confess and
They were so
his family was able to take his property, like, was able to go to them. But if he would have confessed that he was a witch and
no, it says either way his land would have been seized.
not in the show.
Got it.
In the show, it said that because he didn't confess, his daughters were able to inherit the land and everything. But if he would have confessed, the bank would have taken it. Everything would have went to the banks.
Well, the one thing I couldn't understand was when they tortured him, were people there? Like, I don't understand torture. I don't understand people who could torture and then also watch people being tortured because you're watching someone slowly die.
Mhm.
And it's like, do you not have no empathy?
I
Like, you're
think
sitting
people
here
did, but they don't
piling,
have any power.
but they're piling rocks on someone. I couldn't watch. I'd have to leave.
Yeah.
I'd have to leave. I'm not
But
even
yeah,
showing up.
they were just piling, piling, piling until he just died.
So, what finally turned the tide?
The courts relied on something called spectral evidence, claims that someone's spirit appeared in dreams or visions.
Basically, I saw her ghost pinching me, and that counted in court.
Right. But ministers like Increase Mather began pushing back, saying it's too dangerous. His famous line, "It were better that 10 suspected witches should escape than that one innocent person be condemned."
And to that, the fact that more respected townsfolks, even the governor's own wife, were accused. The panic was starting to look ridiculous. Honestly, I would have accused her first.
Mhm.
I would have accused her first. I would have accused the ministers. Nah, y'all got too much power. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
anybody that's money has being accused
Mhm.
first
Y'all
because
too.
all these poor people have no power, no money, no nothing. The only thing they have is what? The house to their name. That's it.
See, y'all too uppity. How come y'all have all that money? How come you
Yeah,
got this nice house compared to everybody else? It's witchcraft.
exactly.
You didn't earn it.
Exactly. You
Where you get it
signed your
from?
soul to the devil. That's what you
Mhm.
did.
Mhm.
Where's my part?
Yep.
I'm poor because I didn't sign my life away.
Exactly. If the All right, Sarah Good, who was a beggar. If she was a beggar, wouldn't you think if she was a witch signing books to the devil, he would at least gave her some money?
Yeah, some gold, something.
Like, get out of here.
In October 1692, Governor William Phipps dissolves the court of Oyer and Terminer. A new court takes over and it doesn't allow spectral evidence. Suddenly, most cases collapse.
By May 1693, the last prisoners are released, but the damage is done. 19 people hanged, one pressed to death, and at least 5 who died in jail, and over 200 accused.
The colony later admitted it was a mistake. In 1711, restitution was made to families, but the scars never really healed.
And today, Salem stands as both a tourist attraction and a warning, a reminder of how fear can spiral into hysteria and how fragile justice can be.
All those people that lost their loved ones for no reason.
They
And
said,
then that little girl that was 4 years old, I think she was in jail for a year, and when she came out, they said that she was mentally unstable.
well, of course.
Yeah, like,
Um,
she was like, completely messed up.
so the families were compensated with 578 to 600 euros
Mhm.
back then. And of course, the trial ended before the governor's wife went to trial because like
Of course.
she was next, and then they were
So
like, "Ah,
convenient.
that's
It's
what it
so
costs." And I'm
convenient.
like, "See now, to me, that reinforces that she was a witch
Exactly.
because why it all end all of a sudden? Like you were next, and all of a
Exactly.
sudden it's over."
You signed that book and you got a free pass.
I'm like, to me, that shows that she was really a witch.
Mm-mm. That's just
Um,
crazy.
but the one thing, or the one good thing about the Salem Witch Trials is that I think 3 new laws were put in place, which well, 3 new laws in the law system were put in place, meaning the presumption of innocence, which was not a thing back then. When you were accused, you were automatically guilty. So now it was like you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. The right to legal counsel, because they all had to speak for themselves. And a lot of these people were very uneducated, especially when it came to the laws in the court system. So when the judge came and the lawyers came from the bigger city, they basically over talked them into saying they were guilty,
Mhm.
and the rules against spectral evidence. So from that day on, you were not allowed to bring it up. Though we did cover a story, and it's
Mhm.
the only time that that was held up in court
Yeah.
when the mom dreamt about her daughter.
The
But
Greenbrier case.
Yes, but I think it's because technically it ended out on a that it worked.
It was true, yes.
Yeah.
But also we have to remember the people that were hanged, after they were hanged, they were burned. Their bodies were set on fire because they said it wasn't just enough that you died, your body
Yeah.
had to be in ash if you were a witch. I think only one case in overseas where they actually set the woman on fire alive.
They also said too that their theory was that a lot of the people who were in the town, besides the Puritans, were survivors of war, so refugees, and also survivors of the plague. So they were already in a mine of trauma that they were just going along with the flow of basically continuing that trauma. Because I know at the end, once it was all demolished and there were no more trials, a lot of people took their compensation and they left because no one wants to stay in the town anymore.
Mhm.
Probably why it's not a thing. And a lot of people don't it was also Salem Village and then there was Salem Town. So Salem Town was bigger and Salem Village was just the little outskirts that actually didn't have a lot of money. A lot of the people there
Mhm.
were poor.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how they had their own governor. But, it is what it is.
Yeah. And overseas, instead of hanging them, they beheaded them
Mm.
before they set them on fire, and then here in Salem, they hanged them and then
Yeah,
set their
because
body on fire.
I was like, "Were there witch trials everywhere?" So I did, like, some research, and I'm like, "There were." It was
Yeah.
actually going rampant during that time. I just think it really was just a big deal here because America was so young.
And then some of these people that wanted to come and investigate, they also wanted to be paid like, "Oh, I'm good at detecting witches, but you have to pay me this much money and I'll
Mhm.
come and tell you who the witches are in the village." Scare them, fearful, so they paid them to come and they would just point people out and be like, "Oh, this person, that person," and then they stopped that. Like, they stopped paying people to come and point out witches.
So they wanted to come here and follow whatever religion they felt was better, which honestly, the Puritan religion is very strict. So they didn't like how the king was basically doing what he wanted under this Puritan religion. So they left. But then the first people to be accused were people who didn't necessarily follow the rules of the Puritan religion. So you kill people who didn't follow the religion to me in the way you want it. So therefore, you just did the same exact thing that you left from. And on top of that, they also didn't show so so apparently in court, whenever an accused like turned or looked at the girls would then start having episodes or convulsing on the floor.
Mhm.
And I'm like, they're faking it.
Yeah, exactly.
These are two little girls, 9 and 11, probably 10 and 12 by now, I don't know, who've gotten so much attention for these claims. They don't want that attention to go away. And then they said like I think 80 people were accused in 4 months. 81 people were accused in 4 months, but only 49 people were actually jailed. I think it's because they ran out of space, so they couldn't jail all of them. Once the first accusations happened and those peoples went to jail, the girls were still having episodes. So they had to keep accusing more people and more people. And I'm like, your kids were bad.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was a minister's kid, so I think that was a way for him to, I guess, make himself more popular
Yeah.
as
And it's like,
well.
was he coaching them to do more?
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm
to keep
thinking.
the hysteria alive because he then stays being, man on top. But it's like,
And
and
another
they brought in more ministers too to try and help the
yeah,
situation.
and then, when I went to Salem and did some tours, they said some people would get accused, like, let's say you had this house that I wanted from you, I would
Mhm.
accuse you as a witch, just so the bank would take your house after you were killed, and then I would buy it off the bank, that house.
That's what I'm saying. These people were not dumb.
Yeah. So
They
it was
were
a lot it
actually
was also about obtaining other people's property as well.
I think it's you also don't wanna go against the grain. You don't wanna go against other people because you don't wanna be accused. But
Mhm.
my first thought was, all these people are being accused is because a lot of people don't like them or it's straight jealousy. I want what you got. and now I know how to get it.
So if I knock on your door and I'm like, "I wanna buy your house," you're like, "No, it's not for sale." Then I start a rumor that, "Oh, B's a witch," you know? And then the rumor starts to fly around, and then people start accusing you. Of course, you can't defend yourself because no one's gonna believe you.
I am a witch,
You're
come get
hanged.
me.
You're hanged, the bank takes your house, and I buy it for, like, 50 bucks.
Wild. That's
It
freaking
is.
wild.
That is
$50 back then was a
that's
lot
true. That's true, though. Rumors flew, and everybody believed the rumors.
until you're accused.
Yeah, and then when it comes on me, then I'm like, "No, it's not true."
Freaking wild. Alright, anyway.
Yeah, you can't have the best house on the block because 'cause you're dead.
I live the thing is you can't live on the outskirts either.
No, you can't. Can't even be a beggar. The beggar didn't even have a house.
I know! How is she a witch? You would think she would be more, well off.
Exactly.
The hell? Crazy. Um,
It's just wild that all these adults took, like, their word for it and actually.
instead of just believing that them girls were, one, bad or, I don't know, like, going through something. They were
Yeah, but it
also
went
at
as
the age.
far as taking people's lives
Yeah,
because a child said that person's a witch. Okay, you're dead.
because
I don't care about your life.
that spectral person pinched me in my sleep. You don't get out my fucking face.
That's just wild, and then, like, their whole family has to deal with their loss now. You don't know if they have kids, husbands, wives, mothers,
Well,
fathers, you know
look
what I
at
mean? Like,
Sarah. Sarah Good.
yeah,
She was killed, and now her daughter was left without a mom and no
exactly.
one to take her.
Yeah, poor girl probably got put in an asylum because she went nuts, and
An
that's it.
asylum an asylum
Her life is over.
for no reason.
No reason at all.
Now, let's turn to the cards and see what they have to reveal. The tarot doesn't just predict, it reflects, it guides, and it whispers the truth that lingers in the shadows. Let's step into the reading. Today's card is the Ace of Swords reversed, which means inner clarity, rethinking an idea, clouded judgment. The Ace of Swords reversed indicates that a new idea or breakthrough is emerging from within you, but you are not willing to share it with others just yet. You may still be exploring what the idea means for you and how to best express and manifest it in the external world. You may also seek greater clarity about whether this is an idea you wish to pursue more fully, perhaps because you are unsure if it will bring the results you truly desire. When this card appears in the tarot reading, it's important to give yourself time and space to meditate and clear your mind so you can birth this idea in the most effective way. Sometimes the reverse Ace of Swords can be a signal you have an idea that's not coming to fruition in a way you had hoped, and it is time to go back to the drawing board. I think that's more of a like an insightful card. Not good or bad.
Yeah.
I got lots of ideas. I just keep them in my head.
Yeah. When you think of Salem now, you might picture costumes and witch hats, but beneath all that kitsch are real stories of suffering.
Stories of neighbors turning on neighbors, of faith turning into fear, and of how quickly society can lose its grip when panic takes over.
Stay vigilant, stay awake, stay aware of the shadows that follow, because not all shadows are harmless.
Bye!
Bye!
Maybe Ohio's filled with witches. Wow.